Hi, this is Mark Seng of SKS Interiors, and if you're wondering what this thing is, this is a notch trowel, because today I will be talking about how to install tiles and some of the considerations that you will need when you are actually installing the tiles. So first of all is you have to consider the area that you will be installing the tiles. So what are the preparations needed for the area before it can receive the tile installation? For example, if it is a bathroom, a room that gets wet, usually we need to waterproof the substrate or the concrete walls or the floor that is on the site before we can actually put the tile on top. So those things have to be done first. Otherwise, you'll be wasting a lot of money. You also need to consider the site situation, or is the stage of the construction already suitable for installing the tiles. For example, the concrete is still not cured yet, so we advise that you do not install tiles before the concrete floor or the wall has been completely cured. Now your site is ready, but before you actually install the tiles, you have to check a few more things. Most important is, are your floors and walls straight and flat? Remember, the tiles are only a surface, but what is behind the tile is your wall. So if your wall is damaged or it is not straight, it will show after you install the tile. So better be sure, check if the walls are straight, the floor is leveled properly or sloped properly before you install the tiles. Another consideration is, when you purchase the tiles, did you purchase enough for the area? We at SKS Interiors encounter some problems when the contractor or the customer does not estimate the proper quantity of tiles needed. The most common problem is they under-calculate the quantity needed, so they buy too few. So what happens if you didn't buy enough tiles and then you run out, or your supplier runs out of the tile? There's a big possibility that the second batch of tiles might be of a different shade or code as the one you already installed, which means when you actually buy those new tiles and you put them in your site, they might look slightly different, or worst case, they're very different, or they're not, the size is too big, so that one tile would be jutting out like that when it's supposed to be just the level, right? So that's a very important consideration. Buy more tiles than you actually need. Anyway, if you're like SKS, you have a good supplier, we would gladly accept any excess tiles that you might have. At least your site or your project is already complete. So make sure before you install that everything is clean, all the walls, all the floors are free of major obstructions or any chemicals that might affect the installation process. So now we come to the hard work, the actual installation of the tiles. Some things to consider when you are going to actually lay your tiles. First is you need to do a layout of tiles that you will be installing. So for example, you're installing a 60 by 60 tile, you need to physically mark the floor where you will be installing it to act as a guide on the first few tiles that you will lay.